Greetings, Geeks. Welcome to episode 391 of Geeks in Space. I'm Rob Commander Taco Mall, and I am here today with three of the finest geeks you will find on this continent, or above it.
I'm not sure I really liked your pausing between words in that intro. Hi, I'm Jeff.
Yeah, I was clicking.
My name's Chris DeBona, and it's very nice to hear you, see you, talk with you.
I'm Rob, but Jake already knows that. So
Yeah. Good old Jake.
Good old Jake. Do you remember the TV show Jake 2.0? I actually really liked it.
It's you.
No, it was seriously good. I liked it.
It was not seriously good.
Okay, it wasn't good, but it was Canadian, and I liked it. I mean, I got no complaints about Jake 2.0 as a TV show.
I feel like Chris is really just trying to turn Geeks in Space into a podcast about Canadian sci-fi actors. That is...
About Canadian actors.
Do you need to tell us something about your relationship with David Duchovny?
I've never met him, actually, so I wouldn't...
So yes.
Oh, well, I did spoil the second to last episode of the XFiles, you'll remember, and which got me death threats on Flash chats.
Was that the lone gunman thing?
Yeah, a lone gunman thing.
Yeah, that is on my list of more embarrassing moments in history.
Just so good. You know, I felt terrible, of course, but...
Yeah, I can see it on your face. Oh my God.
yeah.
You know, I did feel bad. I got my time zones mixed up. You know, people are submitting stories, and I thought the West Coasters had gotten their chance to see it, so I'm like, I'm not spoiling nothing. But it turns out the East Coasters had had a chance to see it, the West Coasters hadn't, and you know, but my kids were small. I was tired.
I was about to say, we should note, you lived on the West Coast during this time period.
Yes, this is important to know. Oh, one thing that wasn't in Taco Zone that I really wanted to talk to you guys about. Did you see the trailer for the new Vin Diesel movie, Bloodshot?
Bloodshot.
It was actually wicked cool. It's like got a whole like Groundhog Day, but augmented dude being used as a tool for vengeance. It looks really cool.
I mean, I've seen a lot of Vin Diesel, and I will watch more.
Did you
watch
just
this movie?
read
You're gonna love it.
word cloud to me? Is that what just happened?
Yeah, well, we are talking about the early 2000s, so we should be speaking in word clouds. No, but seriously, go check it out. We'll paste it in the description of the Taco Zones.
Sure.
Rob,
Oh,
I hate to tell you, I didn't even edit the description field last time. my
did it have the previous? Did you even increment the number?
I did increment the number.
And what episode are we on now?
This is 391, Chris.
We're getting close to 400.
I know, that's a big milestone. We should do something.
We should have David Duchovny on.
Well, I mean, you know, have we emailed him? Should we have a special? Like, we should have Jake on.
Oh, he's earned it.
Yeah, I mean,
actually, what we should try to do.
I think Jake is really John Fraser. I think we should have Fraser on. You know?
Probably should in general.
Yeah,
that's probably. It would be interesting to see who we could get to come on the show to be like, hey, do you want to be on our podcast that has one listener?
And it's you.
You mean our podcast with 2 listeners once we have our guest on?
All right. Well, Vin Diesel, I'm in. I actually have the Hobbs and Shaw because one of you downloaded it to their Plex servers. I'm pretty sure it was you, Chris.
I would never do such a thing.
I want to watch the first half again. I like the first half, but once they get to the second half, that movie falls apart.
I read you my description of it last time. So.
It was like 9 minutes of discussion last Tuesday.
Yeah.
All right. So Quantum Supremacy.
Yeah.
Is that public information now officially, so you can comment on it?
No, it hit the cover of Nature. And what it means is that we hit a threshold of computation with our Sycamore chip that is beyond the ability of scalar simulators to do it in a certain amount of time, which IBM says, well, we could do it in 2.5 days. And we're like, it's still a 3,000 times speed up. So cool. And Scott Aronson, who's great, did this great article about saying, listen.
That's the one on Taco Zone right now.
Yeah, that's a great article. So Scott is just like, I don't know if you've ever met him. He's just a really neat guy, right? And he's really not just fair-minded. He's a rigorous scientist, right? So, yeah, I just, he's a really good guy. And the way he's been calling BS on the whole industry for 10 plus years has been great. So read the Scott Aronson article. It's fascinating and interesting, and I'm looking forward to the future. It's very exciting. That said, on a practical matter, like, it's not like we're going to be installing quantum computers on our cell phones next year. It's still a ways away, but we're getting there. It's really exciting.
My favorite thing about the article was they were saying, it's you can argue about whether or not this is technically quantum supremacy or not, but if they literally add 2 qubits, you've basically put it beyond the processing capacity of any cluster that exists.
And I couldn't possibly discuss the number of qubits
in the next version.
Yeah. So
let me guess. You tell me if we'll play a game.
More than 53. Huh.
More than, well, I was going to guess 54.
I honestly don't know, but I just know.
Chris was being literal when he was saying he honestly couldn't say what it is because he doesn't know. You could lie.
I have to tell you, one of my most interesting. Did I tell you guys about this? I interviewed for Hartmut one of his top people for the quantum team. And I am not, I don't know if you know this about me, I'm not a quantum physicist.
I did know that about you.
Yeah, so imagine it's like the monkeys in 2001 interviewing the monolith. So
I've been calling this interview on my phone and nothing's happening.
And I'm like, listen, this is a very difficult interview because I'm not going to ask you to give me K of N points or design a blah. You're being hired for this quantum computer team. How the hell am I supposed to interview you? And he's like, well, I don't know. And I was like, well, what's your thing? And his thing was writing the simulators so you could see if something was quantum, right? And I was like, okay, well, let's talk about that. And so he whips out his laptop. We basically walk through the simulation code. And we talked about how to scale it to 100,000, 1 million processors, what sort of network demands there would be to simulate, 15, 20, 50, 100, qubits. And it was really interesting. And so we hired him. But we not because of me. We hired him because he was smarter than you. Everyone, really. So
how many qubits do you need before we stop being able to encrypt things anymore?
Oh, so that's the question. So if you read, there's a lot of discussion about Shor's algorithm on Aronson's blog. You should just go read that because I'm gonna mangle it.
Fair enough.
We have a little ways to go.
It's 55, isn't it?
I honestly couldn't tell you.
I just think it's going to be extremely interesting to see when that threshold is crossed in all sorts of secrets from probably the 80s and 90s. All of these databases and data stores that were harvested by various agencies are finally cracked, and what comes out at that point.
So like Bill Joy's password, yes. So it turns out that it wasn't Ken Thompson's password, it was Bill Joy's password. And so there you go.
There you go.
That was our correction and omission for this episode.
Yes. The errata episode. Yeah.
Maybe that's what we should do on episode 400 is just spend the whole episode correcting the mistakes that we made during the missing episodes that he must forgot to upload.
That is a long episode.
It is.
Maybe I didn't forget. Maybe I
think it should be a special. Yeah, it should be a special 1 hour episode.
And not just things we've said wrong here, just things we said wrong in our life. We just wipe the slate clean at 400 and start new.
Yeah, it's like Catholic confession.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, or like didn't the ancient Israelites, they had like the year of Jubilee that was all the debts were wiped out, everything started over again.
Every
I think that-
seven.
Yeah.
So connected to that, Bates, could I borrow $20?
You started too low, man.
You know.
How much for your
but
women?
I need 2,000. So yeah.
Speaking of have you gotten your laptop ordered yet?
No, but at this point, I gave up after 13 online orders.
Okay.
I think what it is that they auto decline it because I'd already gotten one. I'm just going to have to call them on the phone. What is fun is my Amex statement with the pending purchase canceled, pending purchase canceled, pending purchase canceled for the laptops. But
For the equivalent of a small West Michigan house.
it would be
In aggregate, yeah.
Yeah, in aggregate, it's probably 36,000 for all of them. Yeah, because I was gonna get the video card enclosure thing. What do they call it?
Oh, the GPU core.
Yeah, because I don't actually have one, and that seems like something I probably want to have.
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Hey, Rob, did you watch last season of Castle Rock?
I have not.
Castle Rock's the Stephen King thing, right?
Yeah,
It
I'm actually really surprised you haven't.
No, I just have too many things to watch,
Speaking of that, Man in the High Tower, is that worth watching? I know it came out a while ago.
Ooh. I have many opinions about Man in the High Castle. So when
I said tower, didn't I?
like the first episode, I'm sorry, you asked, I have to talk. The first episode is kind of hard to get through, and
That's how far I got.
you're like, God, this isn't very good. These actors aren't very good. The special effects, put the word special in emphasis here. I'm not sure what's going on here. But if you can get past that first couple episodes, it's actually really good. Like, solid. Like, and so I'm really looking forward to the last season. So there was a preview, a trailer for the last season. And I'm excited about it.
Huh. Oh, they're still making it at this point?
Oh yeah. The final season's like four seasons, I guess. I don't know. I would say it's actually worth it. And I love Philip K. Dick, right? But they actually did a really good job on the show. And it's funny because you can almost like see Amazon getting used to doing television, and doing it.
Well,
right?
It came out like at the exact same time as there was a Stephen King, or not, there was a Stephen King one, like 1961 or something, which was awesome.
Oh, yeah. That's funny. Kathleen's like, I'm not in the video.
Totally not stealing the referral papers for my kid's orthodontia appointment.
Anyway, what were we saying?
Yeah, 1961 or 1964, whatever that show was, it came out like the exact same time, and I watched like the first few episodes of that show and the first couple episodes of Man in the High Tower, and like the other one is, and what it comes down to is that James Franco is just a weirdly charismatic actor, so I really enjoyed that show. But Man in the High Tower, just the first couple episodes didn't have the thing for me. Man in the High Castle. Sorry, I keep confusing Man in the High Tower and the Man in the High Castle and Dark Tower.
That's exactly what I did because
and the two towers and the TV show Castle.
That's true.
Yeah.
And the Man from U.N.C.L.E. Wait, no, that's different.
And bringing it back around Castle Rock, which
which stars Uncle Buck. No.
How about we just agree that this whole thing is called The Man in the High Castle Tower, and it's called Castle Tower Rock, and we can just use them all together.
Can we ride the
Man?
magic?
It stars the guy from Firefly. So yeah.
Yeah, that's Stephen King, the 1964, whatever, 63. I read the book was good. I don't know if the show is.
The show is incredibly fun for me, but I kind of like James Franco. He's just got he seems to put himself in good stuff.
Yeah.
I kind of wonder if, say, 100 years from now, their perception of Stephen King will be sort of what ours is of Charles.
These are Shakespeare.
Like, very prolific author who just was able to tell very good stories.
Agatha Christie?
Yeah, that would be the British equivalent.
maybe Mary Shelley. I mean, she wasn't prolific, but she had such an impact, and she sort of did horror and scary stuff, right?
Maybe more like
I
Asimov.
think, think they are going to remember him way more than like an Asimov. Asimov's star is kind of fading, which is weird because there's an Apple. So Apple is doing a Foundation series.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And everyone's like, is Apple going to do a good job with this? And they're actually spinning up a bunch of productions. It's a lot like Amazon. It's a lot like Netflix 8 years ago, 9 years ago. It's a lot like Amazon 4 years ago. You can see them sort of trying to get their sea legs in producing stuff. So it's kind of weird.
Yep. New Expanse season starts soon. Very exciting.
That's the show I need to start with Kathleen for my evening show.
So good.
Yep.
Yep. And I'm not a big fan of the it's good. It's so good. Watch it on a big ass TV with a ton of speakers and yeah.
I'm in. I like all of these things. Did you guys watch the Star Wars trailer?
I did.
Didn't we talk about that last time?
I think it came out after we spoke last time.
Nope. We talked about it last time.
Did we? Shows what I know.
No. It actually shows the impact of the trailer. That is, it's completely unmemorable. It like enters one eyeball and just like drops on the floor.
Except
it wasn't very good. It had a couple of
family.
What's that?
Except everybody cringes when C-3PO talks about family.
I just want to take a last look at my friends. Friends.
You know how you never actually had any screen time with several of them?
Yeah, it's just the trailer. The trailer was fine. It was technically well done. I loved the scene. We talked about this last time, but who cares?
We did talk about this last time. I'm just going down then.
The scene where they fly over the reflective lake thing was cool, but Star Wars.
So BBC is putting their whole website up on the dark web. They're doing a tour mirror.
I saw that.
I kind of like that. It was like back in the day. It's weird to think that that's roughly parallel now to 15, 18 years ago, where the amount of actual encrypted traffic on the internet was so low that people were saying, let's just encrypt random websites, as many of them as we can, just so that encrypted packets don't look suspicious.
I don't know. It's not going to save Tor, man. It's just, that protocol has got real problems.
You mean like how it's created by the federal government and being monitored by it?
No. The problem is the way that the Tor works is if you set up a preferential exit, you can trend traffic to it. So suppose you're a theocratic dictatorial regime and you want to see everything that someone's doing with some website. You basically get a really fast connection close to that website, right? A leased line, if you will. And then you set up your Tor exit node for literally just that site, and you have it just have this incredible connection to it. Eventually, Tor will trend packets towards your exit node. And it's inherent in the protocol that this will happen. So they literally have to change the protocol to defeat this attack. So if you have a lot of resources and you can do this, then you can capture packets on the way out of the Tor exit node and do your traffic analysis and sneaky shit. So
how is that really different than, we've read
the Iranian government's been doing
a couple of times where a couple of key nodes collapse and then suddenly the internet is routing all of their packets through mainland China or through the Ukraine or something. How's that different?
So the problem with BGP is a little different. But BGP, it's so different, Rob. I know that sounds weird. It's like they're really not the same.
Different.
Profile. Same. They're very different. It's hard to explain.
Totally different and totally the same.
So if the Iranian government decided they wanted to, do an attack against the root CA, they would have a hard time doing that because all the browsers that people actually use ignore what these really weird regimes try to do to the root CAs. You should look up certificate transparency. It's fascinating stuff. Ben Laurie worked on it. He actually worked on Tor back in the day. But yeah, anyway.
Let's see. What else did I have? Did any of you guys have anything on your lists? Oh, there's something. JoJo's Rabbit comes out this weekend.
JoJo Rabbit. I cannot wait to see this. I have to wait until it's like on like home video, on videotape.
You're not allowed to see movies in the theater?
Yeah, I'm not going to get to it in the theater. I know that, but man, it looks so good. I can't wait to see it.
Outer Worlds is out at midnight tonight.
The paving update should be out sometime today in Astroneer. Yep. Outer Worlds is out. I mean, there's so many cool things happening right now.
Yep.
I'm talking to you jerks.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, actually, the updates haven't been released yet, so it's still fine to talk.
Yeah, I need to check. Astroneer is currently streaming.
But yeah, I have to do the Halloween thing with my youngest tomorrow. But I think tomorrow afternoon is going to be spent in Halcyon. I think that's the name of the world in Outer Worlds. So every time I see that word, I always want to pronounce it Halicon, which I know you're not supposed to.
Halcyon?
Or you want to remind people that Halcyon was a drug that led people to suicide.
Sure, or that it's a word in the dictionary as well.
It is at that.
I had a node about the word Halcyon in Everything One. And I kind of put it in there as a joke, but I said that the word refers to Disney Studios, their animation studio, because it was called Halcyon Studios back in like the 40s or whatever. And obviously there's more meaning to that word than that, but nobody ever said anything about it. But yesterday, I actually got, I have some notification thing that mentions when my name shows up on the internet, like a Google Trends or something. I don't even remember which one it is. But somebody edited one of my old nodes from 1999 on E2. It was, I don't even remember what movie it was. It was a review of a movie or something. And they immediately responded with like this 10-paragraph thing about how I was wrong. Oh, somebody still read E2. That's awesome.
That's fantastic. Yeah, Jay Bonsi still running the E2. God bless him. God bless him, one and all.
Nope, not streaming it. Damn it.
He barely got any mention in that documentary. Anybody else have anything fun to say this week?
Yeah, I have a Google alert on my name. I should set one up for you guys too. That'd be really funny. Yeah. Hey, Jeff. Jeff Bates and I, our previous boss, he shares a name with the head of the Metro in New York City. So I keep on getting these alerts on this guy. And the spokesperson for the subway says, so whenever I see him, I make fun of him. I was like, hey, so you're in charge of the subway too, huh? And he's like, yep, that's us. The proud.
The L line is stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think some of you I'm going to see at a campfire tonight. Some of you I won't.
That's nice.
Mm-hmm.
Is Robert going?
I am going.
Okay.
We're going to
have to go because it's either me or one other friend, it seems like, are the only ones who can actually start a fire. So I'll need to be there if Jeff is not going to
don't heat up your glass rod. That's all I'm going to say.
No, I don't have that glass rod yet.
Okay, all right.
We also decided it's really a glass catheter.
Ew.
Like, yeah,
sexy.
Well, to be clear, a catheter doesn't. All right, never mind.
All right. Well, that's not for our listeners.
Is this the sort of thing where we have to call your urologist father in order to answer questions?
No, that's my point. Is catheters are used for a wide variety of things, not that one specifically.
And that's not what we're talking about.
Fun to ask the doc.
We don't need Dr. Bates here. You know, we can get by with Son Bates.
Batesette.
Yeah. The mini version. Yeah.
All right, folks. I'm going to throw up the goodbye slide because we're spinning wheels here. You guys want to say your goodbyes?
Goodbye, Fraser.
See ya.
Thank you, Jeff, Chris, Rob, and to all of our geeks listening from the Earth. Thank you for joining us for episode 391 of Geeks in Space. I'm Rom Commander Taco Malda, and we will